Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I know in the last video I told you that I'd be trying to post consistently, but there was a hurricane, power went out for like 3 days, and I basically just lost track of time and never got to recording, but here we are. Before I tell you what we're gonna do in this video, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe, because that'll bring my videos into other people's recommended so I get more popular. And now what we're doing in this video today is I'm going to be showing you how to count how many of this letter there are in a word. For example, in this video I'll be showing you how to count how many O's there are in a word. And since this will be a short video, I'm also adding how to just count how many characters there are in a sentence or string. And now let's get to it. The first thing you want to do while writing this is basically say what it's about. So I'm going to do print and just say a piece of code that counts how many of X letters there are in a word. And then I can say made on August 17th, 2020. So now once we do that, when we run this, that's going to be the first thing that comes up. Oops, I wrote mad instead of made. That's going to be the first thing that comes up. So now we'll get to the actual coding part. So now we're going to do an input. So we can name this variable whatever we want, but for me, I'm going to call it word, because this is where you'll be entering your word. So I'll go word equals input, and then I'll say enter a word with, you can write a period or a colon, whatever you want, but make sure to have a space so people can actually write instead of writing whatever they're smushed up against the last word you wrote. So now once we do this, it'll allow us to type anything that we want. But it won't do anything because we didn't tell it to do. We just have this input. So now we're going to do something that's called an accumulator pattern, which basically whenever something happens, it'll add 1 or a certain number to a variable. So I'm going to make this variable count, because this is a variable that'll say how many of this letter there are in the word, so it's counting. So say count equals 0, so it doesn't add anything to how many there actually are. So now that we have this, we'll get to the actual calculating part. So we'll make a for loop. So for E in word, you always have to have something here. So when you don't have it to be anything specific, you can just put anything like an E or an underscore in place over here. So now we'll write if E equals to O in quotes, because this will be an input. So because we're looking for things in an input, which is a string, so we need to specify it'll be in quotes, so it won't be looking for a variable called O. This is very important for it to actually function, because if we were to take away those quotes, there'll be an error that basically says there's gonna be an error that basically says that O is undefined. So if I do this, it'll say O is undefined, and it will be looking for the variable O, because here we're not setting anything to O. if anything, we would be setting O to E. And anyways, we have dual equal signs, which means we're like basically thinking if something's happening. So if E equals to O, then we'll go count plus equals 1. So that's actually all we have to do. So if I were to write my word as zoo, then it would actually say 2. But if you've noticed, it doesn't say anything here. It's just a blank space. And the reason for that is the Python doesn't even know you want it to tell you the number. It has it in itself, but it's not telling you it because you never told it to tell you. It's like when you have a private thought, but you're not telling anyone because, like, you weren't told to. Like in school, when you have a thought on something, but you weren't picked on when you raised your hand. Like, no one knows about it, but you're thinking it. So right now we have to basically tell Python, hey, I want to know what you got. So for here we just have to do simple print. So we'll just write print and then count, since that's the variable with the number. So if we were to run it again and I write zoo, it'll say 2. If I write forest, it'll say 1. So that's how you find how many of a letter there are in a word. Since the last part of the video was pretty short, I'm gonna add something else. So here I'm gonna show you guys how to find out how many characters there are in string. So I'm gonna quickly write one str1 equals 2. This is in a YouTube video. And just so you know, characters includes the letters, spaces, and periods. So now all we have to do here is basically print this. So I'm going to write print and then len, which is a function for basically finding out how many characters there are in something. I'm guessing that len is short for length. So len, another set of parentheses, and in here we'll write the variable name of our string. So here we can see it's str1. If we wanted to see here, which is our variable explorer, it basically says our variables, the type, size, and value. It shows that our variable is called str1. So in the parentheses for the len function, I'm going to just write str1. And when I run this, it'll say 27. And now we could even, we can now check this. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. So that's how you figure out the basic characters of a string. And there are ways to do just spaces and just letters, and we might cover that in another video. Until next time, goodbye.